Students, welcome back to the second part of the analysis of Sonnet 106 by Shakespeare. We shall take off from where we had left off in the previous video about the analysis of the poem. Okay, the line of argument is about the mortality of human life and temporariness of one's beauty. Okay, to repeat the same theme of the sonnet, that it is about this that the poet is trying to speak. While the beauty is short lived, human life is prone to unpredictable death and demise. Hence, it is meaningless to try to preserve the beauty of mortals through poetry or any form of written document. Then the poet proceeds to bring out the blazon of beauty as catalogued by the ancient poets in their poetry. The blazons of beauty, as described by the ancient poets, are enlisted as hand, foot, lip, eye, brow, etc. The poet witnesses all the blazons of beauty in the scriptures of ancient poets, that is, in the poetry composed by the ancient pen, which means old poems. Now, let us look into sonnet and try to analyze more of it. Okay, so all their praises are but prophecies of this our time, all our prefiguring, and for they looked but with divining eyes, they had not skill enough your worth to sing. Okay, they had not skill enough your worth to sing. So now you see that the poet says there is no difference between the two. The poet draws the similarity between the beauty of yesteryears and the contemporary beauty. There is no difference between the two as such. Both are short lived and prone to getting ravished with the sands of time. Thus, he refers to the praises rendered by the ancient poets as prophecies. He calls them prophecies because what they prophesied long ago, now it has come true that these people are not there anymore. They are ruined and they are destroyed by the sands of time. As the time passes, it destroys everything. The prophecies here mean the praises addressed to the ladies and lords of the old rhymes. Okay, according to the poet, these praises can only foresee the future, and hence they hold a very little relevance to the present beauty. They are further irrelevant since the beauty of the future is unpredictable. Okay, and one may be beautiful today yet turn ugly tomorrow, as the beauty is a wavering factor in life. Okay, the poet thus implies all the material aspects of life like beauty, chronicles, poetry, and even life itself as mortal. By this, he is arriving at a point that when we are mortals ourselves, it is baseless to try to preserve our worth through mortal means stated above. Okay, towards the end of the sonnet, okay, the couplet, the end of the sonnet, which reads like this: for we which now behold these present days have eyes to wonder but lack tongues to praise. Okay, this is the ending part, the couplet of the sonnet. The poet arrives at the argument that though the poets who precede him, okay, who were there before him, tried hard to record the beauty of his friend, their efforts were unsuccessful, as they fell short of words to describe his true worth. His friend's worth was beyond words and superseded the poetic skills of the ancient poets. Their talents, like his as well, failed to explain the true worth of his friend. By this, one learns that the poet intends to immortalize the worth and beauty of his mortal friend. Okay, he idealizes his friend's beauty and claims they had not skill enough your worth to sing. Okay, this is the last line of the third quatrain. He says this, that all the praises of the past failed to capture the worth of his friend, and same follows in the present scenario also, that the onlookers or the poets can only wonder at the beauty of his friend, whereas cannot do justice to the true worth of his friend, though their tongues are engaged in singing his praise. The poem concludes on a note of triumph, that though one fails to document the beauty of our love and inspiration, yet the worth that subject could be preserved in memories and also eternalized through human spirit. Okay, and if you look at the motif of time in this sonnet, it is very much recurrent. Okay, time in this poem is used to express the mortality of human life and the desperate human attempts to conquer death. But time leaves us vulnerable to its onslaughts. We surrender every time in front of time. Very first line of the sonnet begins with reference to time, okay, as a devastating factor which gradually destroys all the blazons of beauty. All that will be left behind is immortal worth and beauty of his friend, which can be perceived by the human eye and felt by the human spirit. Hence, the time also serves the influencing factor in immortalizing his friend Mr. W.H. and eternalizing his worth. And the poet employs pertinent figures of speech to represent the invincible beauty of his friend over the world, represented through poems and chronicles. Okay, alliteration, for example, is a figure of speech where there is a repeated sound either in terms of words or lines in a poem. Alliteration is used here in the line, and beauty making beautiful old rhyme. You see the repetition of the word letter B here. Okay, the poet is referring to the same word in different forms, beauty and beautiful, in order to express the beautiful way in which the old rhymes were composed about his friend. Further, alliteration is also used in the following line when he says, so all their praises are but prophecies. You see the repetitive letter P in this poem, the sound of the letter P is being repeated. This is used in order to bring out the failed human attempt to present the future of a person's beauty. The figure of speech personification is also used here, and it is a figure of speech where the inanimate things, the lifeless things, are endowed with the qualities of life. For example, when he says, I see their antique pen would have expressed. Okay, so in this line, you see that the inanimate object called the pen is bestowed upon lifelike quality of expressing itself. It's like the pen is talking about itself and also about others. The metaphors in the poem are found in the direct comparisons. Okay, metaphors are also used in comparisons like praises are directly compared to prophecies and the blazons of beauty. Okay, so etc. You find many other such metaphors in the poem. So this brings us to the successful analysis of sonnet 106. Okay, time permits, we shall proceed with the comprehension session of the sonnet in the forthcoming videos.